Can we import a list to have it cleaned?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and that's exactly where I was going. Now, there's two aspects of that, and some people get confused sometimes, so I want to be sure and take a minute to clarify. There's one thing is what we would call enriching or appending your existing list, meaning taking the list that you have and adding in missing data, like if you have an email list but you don't have phone numbers, right? That's appending or enriching. The other aspect is what we call cleansing, which is validating the email addresses. So like we talked about earlier, when you export from the B2B contact database here, it's going to validate that the email is deliverable. However, if you're doing a lot of email marketing, that's not quite enough. And let me show you what I mean. Built into SalesNexus, you have what we call list cleansing. So I'm going to go here and let me do this. Grab that list, and I'm going to show you what happens. I'll show you how to do this in a minute, but you can take any list that you've loaded into SalesNexus, and our system uses a third party that does a whole deeper dive on the email validation. It's not just checking to see if the mail server is going to accept mail. It's checking to see if you're a spam trap or a frequent spam complainer and things like that, so that you're removing those people from your list. So here you go. Here's a list of, I'm actually in our database that we use in our business here. And you can see email validation result, right? So I ran a cleanse on this list, and these are the different results that are coming back. Verified means it's a good email, everything, it's the best. Catch-all means you can send to that email address, but the mail server is basically set up to receive any email to any address at that domain. So I could send an email to Craig at yesandagency.com and it'll receive it. That's a weird thing that people do on their mail servers as a way to kind of fight spam. But that's what that is. Unknown means we weren't able to determine it. Undeliverable means it's a bad email address. Let's see, role means it's, info at, right? Or sales at. You don't want to send to those in general. And then, let's see, show you some other examples. You got malformed, meaning it's just, something wrong with the format of your email, as you can see here, right? And then I will try to show you, some of them are going to come back and say either spam bot or spam trap, or actually the easier way to show you this, sorry. I'll go up here to my dashboard and go to email analysis, and you'll see all the different categories that you get. And I want to show you guys this because this is really important. Again, if your list is, a couple thousand people or something like that, it's not, and you're going to send one email a month or something, some of this stuff may not really make a huge difference for you. It's such a small list that you're not really going to notice. But if you're sending, tens or hundreds of thousands of emails every month, then these things make a big difference, because you're on the radar screen of the spam filters like Gmail and Outlook. So here you go. Here's a graph of all the different email validation results on this list.
Yes.
Right? But anyway, what I'm trying to get to here is, you see all the different values that you're going to get from this cleanse. Verified, catch-all, all of these we talked about. There's complainer. These are real people with real addresses that are actually checking their mail, right? It's not like it's some bot or a trick or something, right? But they frequently mark things as spam, right? So generally you don't want to send to those guys because especially if they didn't ask for it. Role, we talked about spam trap. That's also sometimes can be a real person, a real mailbox where somebody's actually using that mailbox, but also it's a spam trap. There's services where they, any mail that they mark as spam, or they don't any unsolicited mail that comes in to that mailbox automatically gets reported as spam. Let's see, bots, it's some kind of automated system. Disposable email, those are some of these systems where you can register an email and register for your trial of some thing, but you're never going to see the emails that they send you. So anyway, all of these guys, like the spam traps, the complainers, malformed, undeliverable, obviously, you can see kind of the rates. You don't see a lot of spam traps or bots, right? But it only takes one or two to cause you some pretty serious damage. That's the thing to keep in mind, is you don't need to get a lot of spam reports to start having settings, add contacts, and then here, manage imported lists. And so these are all the lists, all the CSVs that you've ever loaded into SalesNexus. So I can select any of those that could be multiple or whatever. And I go here, you see selected list, start cleansing. And that's all you do. Start the cleanse. There is a charge for that. It's 4 cents per contact. But it's worth it, because it's going to clean those spam traps and stuff off your list. One of the things that I wanted to make sure and show you is that when you cleanse it, SalesNexus will automatically mark the email as undeliverable and it won't send to it. So even if you again, it might be a spam trap and it's a real person that you still have a relationship with. Maybe they're a customer. SalesNexus is going to mark it as what we call do not send. So even if you accidentally put them on a campaign in the future, we won't send to them. So that just happens automatically. So any of the spam traps, the complainers, the undeliverable emails, and a couple of other categories that we looked at earlier will just automatically get marked as do not send.